Before we get into anything today, I want you to open up your NCARB record. Pull up your experience summary by area, not after the video, but right now, and look at the distribution across the 6 categories. Now ask yourself one question. Is that distribution intentional? Did you choose those concentrations because they align with where you want your career to go in the next 5 years? The honest answer can be the predictable result of a program people enter without using the framework intentionally. The AXP has a structure that's intended to help you become a licensed architect. Most people treat that structure as a bureaucratic requirement, something that says hours equals competency, but we all know that's not necessarily the truth. The ones who arrive at licensure and use something like AXP to its full intentionality use this useful experience as a design tool, as something that helps you sharpen those skills and become a competent practicing architect. Hey y'all, I'm Gabby, architect big sis, architect, and actually a firm supervisor. I've gotten the chance to see not only how the program works, but how to help candidates move through with intention. Today, I'm going to give you 6 questions that will audit your AXP honestly. Not theoretical, the ones that will actually reveal whether or not your experience is building with the intentionality you need. Question number 1, are your hours actually being approved or are they sitting and pending for a long time? Now remember, you do not lose hours if your supervisor is running behind on approving those sheets, but it is worth noting if there is something that is going to come up as a surprise later that you get it taken care of as soon as possible. Right now, log on to your NCARB record and find the specific split between your pending time and your supervisor's approval. If there's longer than a 60-day backlog, that is something worth flagging and picking up the phone and calling your supervisor to make sure that you can get that taken care of as soon as possible. Again, it does not affect your hours, it doesn't affect your time, but it does affect your competence as you're moving forward. And remember, you want to stay on top of what new competency areas you are gaining, so you don't want to be behind on those past hours. Here's an ask that consistently works. I have 3 experience reports that are ready for review. The approval process takes about 5 minutes. Can I put 15 minutes on your calendar for you and I to go through it together? It will work every single time. Question number 2, where are your hours concentrated? And is it by choice? Look at your approved hours across the 6 experience areas. Don't look at your total, but I want you to look at the distribution. So let's say you've been working in CDs quite a bit and you are almost entirely in construction documents. Well, a lot of your time might be in project development and documentation in PDD. Now, if 70 or 80% of your hours are there, or maybe you finished them all, but you are missing the key components of contracts and practice management, your record is telling you a story. It's telling you what it's gotten to build competency and what you may be behind on. The distribution you have right now is not the one that you're ultimately stuck with when it comes to practice. You do need to build competency in each of these areas, but I would challenge you to look beyond just hours alone as the way that confirms your competency. Question number 3, which experience area are you the most structurally blocked in? There is a critical difference between being behind in an experience area and being blocked even having the access toward it. So I will give you a very real example of this. Let's say you have your entire project development and documentation and project planning and design. All of that has been filled in and you are still missing the construction and evaluation portion of your AXP. That's the CA piece. You may notice that the only people who actually go out to CA sites are your project managers, maybe your lead project architects, maybe your lead project designers at times. But you have asked time and time again, can I go to site? And there just doesn't seem to be a spot for you to be able to do that. This is where I am going to pitch to you a little bit of a practical solution for you to consider. I'm not telling you to leave just so you can get those CA hours, but it is so critical to not only you completing that experience area to get out onto a job site, you need to see what experience areas are being blocked just because they may not be offered by your firm at all. Knowing which gaps are fixable internally and the ones that require a different strategy will stop you from spinning your wheels. The practical solution for a structural block is looking at setting O, whether that be community design centers or working under another licensed professional or working on a construction site, all of which can help you in gaining those key elements that you may still be missing in your other experience areas. Remember, at the end of the day, you're not just going after hours, you are going after competency. Number 4, can you describe your career direction in one specific sentence? Think more of your AXP than just a deposit into an hourly account. The whole point behind the AXP is to make sure that you grasp the foundational aspects of practice and can do it with competency. Ask yourself this question seriously. What kind of architect do you want to be in the next 10 years? Not a title, but a description of your professional life. What does your day look like? What problems are you solving and for whom? What kind of work makes the effort feel worth it? And what does a sustainable practice look like for the entirety of your career, not just for those licensure pursual years? Write one sentence that answers that question by the end of this video. If you genuinely can't write it yet, that is okay too. That is information that you need as you continue to build forward. In the next video, we'll talk about how to strategically build on your career, and this is something that we'll revisit again soon. Question 5, have you had a specific conversation with your supervisor in the last 90 days? Not a check-in, not a passing call, but having the intentional one-on-one time. Again, a great strategy to do this is to say, can I get 15 minutes on your calendar so we can go through the AXP categories together? Now, another thing to keep in mind when you're doing this as well is some project schedules will take a year's worth of planning to do. So be sure that when you are picking up about what specific experience areas you are looking for, you are translating that to the principal in charge or to the manager so they know what projects you can be assigned to. So you can hit those key elements to your professional development. Question number 6, do you have a realistic completion date? And is it actually based on how practice runs? But here's how you can do that calculation in 5 minutes. Log on to your NCARB record and find your average hours that are approved a month. Let's say you're preparing for your summer internship and you are looking at working anywhere between 40 and 45 hours a week. That timeline is then going to be multiplied by the number of weeks that you have. So typically in a summer, you'll be able to get anywhere between 320 and maybe 350 hours if you've got an 8-week internship. Now, one thing to consider is if you are working more than that in certain times, let's say your internship requires 50 hours a week, you can't expect to be done with all of your hours before you graduate if you haven't started your internship as a first year, right? So keep those things in mind. Be realistic about that timeline. I'll have a whole other video to talk about the examination component, but experience is one of the most slept on elements of your architecture career. It's also the one that will demonstrate the longest runway of what kind of career you can have as you move forward, well beyond licensure. Remember, ask yourself these 6 questions. This audit will take you about 20 minutes, seriously, to do. Write it down, take the time, and be just as intentional with your AXP as you are with the rest of your career. Drop it in the comments. Which question was the most uncomfortable for you to answer honestly? I genuinely want to know where you are and what's happening out there for the people who are navigating this currently. Thanks for listening.